All is One Reflections. My name is Priestess Ifeanyi Omowari Ogunyomi, and I am a goddaughter of Reverend Priestess Oshunfunke Iyanyifa. I am staff at the Orisha Hoodoo Institute, Black Spectrum Network, and the Voodoo Institute. I am the owner of Enchanted Vibes, co-owner of Vibe and High, and overall Bad Mama Jamma. Today's class is Made with Love. So we are going to talk about food, yay, my favorite thing if you know me well, and how you can use it to enchant your family and do all sorts of fun things and have better health. As I've said many times, you can enchant anything, and intentions are always the most important ingredient of a spell. Many people, especially in our Black American culture, believe that if you cook with love, the food tastes better, right? We've all heard that. Most of us have done it. Well, that's what this class is mostly about. This is a part of kitchen witchery that is often kind of overlooked. And we really don't talk too much about it either. Most of us have a family member that was like the culinary head of the family. It's usually like a grandmother. Or an aunt or something like that. And it's usually female, but it is also usually the most loved member of the family is the one that does all the cooking, if you've ever noticed that. A good portion of us have that one family member that really no one likes, but they insist on making a specific dish and it's trash. That's also the reverse side of this. And this is often the sister of the favorite member of the family, if you've ever noticed that. If you listen, you will probably hear stories about how one was favored over the other, creating some tension that is obvious at pretty much all times, but usually only brought up when the least favorite gets tired of being the least favorite. This usually happens around family get-togethers, especially this time of year. Often as we get older, we learn that the crazy mean aunt wasn't the asshole we thought, and that they were and the favorite, had a past that only a few people, including that least favorite, really know about. Sometimes the least favorite is like the villain of the family sometimes. And this usually is like a 30-year plus rivalry. And by the time you're born, and especially by the time you get older, this has been going on for decades by the time you really start to realize it. And then we realize that our Aunt Ruby really wasn't the witch, and that Grandma Gertrude, we'll call her, or Grandma Geraldine, that's an older Black woman named Geraldine, she wasn't actually a saint. In fact, Grandma Geraldine was the witch because she used food and home remedies to enchant the entire family and cover up what she had done in the past. Whereas the other aunt, or the sibling, the villain, just was themselves all the time. And so there was no filter when it came to them. You knew exactly what you were going to get. Meanwhile, the beloved kind of had a past. So that's just an example. That's not the case in every family dynamic, but more often than we would probably like to admit, the beloved family member has some skeletons. We'll say like that. Most of us in this class have an understanding of how tonics, tinctures, and elixirs are used for a variety of ailments. Everyone in the coven has at least one of these things at any given moment. We all started preparing in August for the fall and winter by making things that will help with seasonal illness. Everything from enchanted elderberry syrup, which the class, if you have this bundle and you purchase it, that class is in this bundle. And then we make like fire tonic. We have several different versions of a fire tonic going. Most of us have that elderberry syrup because we needed it for one of those. And so there's a lot that you usually have available to you if you are a regular practitioner. Most of us have children, so we know what our children are prone to. So we kind of prepare a couple months in advance. And as you know, these things take usually at least 45 days to kind of sit and marinate a little bit. Elderberry syrup you can use right away, but some of the tonics and definitely the tinctures have to sit for a few weeks. And so August is really the time to prepare for that. Maybe even late July, depending upon where you live. Here in the Midwest, it snowed on Halloween. So it was good that I already had certain things prepared. We've had elderberry syrup for like 2 months now, so we're good up here. But as a mother, you know that these things are things that you have to prepare. And this is actually practical priestessing at its best. Using food and herbs to create practical solutions to average run-of-the-mill problems is often overlooked from a magical standpoint. As real practitioners know, everything has a spirit and everything naturally grown on earth has a purpose. Fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and legumes all have benefits that help our bodies function properly. In this class, my goal is to expand your understanding of food, how our bodies use food, and how you can create an energetic shift in your household with food. I'm going to go over a lot of different ingredients. Make sure you take notes. We aren't going to go over everything, so I encourage you to dig deeper. If you have children, teach them these principles. I am intentionally teaching this class ahead of the holiday season so that you can use what you learn over the next few months, especially if you are preparing food for any of the gatherings this year. This kind of magic takes time. Some of the effects can be seen immediately in the form of compliments and adoration, right? Because someone will tell you how good something tastes or how they've never had it that way, or something about it is just different and they can't quite put their finger on it. That's a little bit of that razzle dazzle you're going to put in there with your intentions and love. But this is chess and not checkers. So depending upon your role in your family, it may take maybe even a few years for everything to really take root and fully function the way that you intended. Use the principles on yourself and your household, and there will still be noticeable change after about a month or so, especially if you're the one that cooks in your house. But it will take more time depending upon how much you can implement and how quickly you can do it. So if you can start doing it today, great. If you're one of those ones that only cooks a couple times a year, it's going to take a little bit more time, because this is one of the things that has to build up. It's a buildup of energy. Like I said, some things will happen right away. You'll notice slight shifts, but in order for it to really work and have long lasting effects, this is something that really has to be done all the time, mostly because of how we digest, which is actually not in my notes, but food doesn't stay in our systems very long. And so if you only cook maybe once a week, that food is long gone out of your body by the next time you cook. And so, I would say cook more. It's much more beneficial for you. It's much more healthy for you. I'm not eating fast food for the rest of the year. My ancestors and I had a little talk. And so that is going to help me personally with the things that I need to be doing. And as like a little testimony, so I can tell you from extensive and intentional research that this is one of the most simple but yet most difficult things to do. We had a 7-day raw fast a few months ago, and the main intention was spiritual elevation, right? But the secondary intention was to cleanse our bodies because of the things that we had undertaken previously and that we were getting ready to undertake. And so many of us we suffer from, some type of health issue or some type of chronic illness that affects our daily functionality, or like weight management, things like that are kind of like at the top of the list. So it was a difficult week at first, especially because it was spur of the moment. We didn't know that this was going to happen. It wasn't like intentional. So it was like literally we hear about it, and then the next day it's time to do the fast. So we didn't have a lot of time to prepare ourselves mentally for this, which is fine. And it worked out. I think we all really got something from it, but it was kind of initially kind of stressful. So, however, um, I had ended up losing like quite a bit of weight. Not necessarily weight as in pounds, but like inches. I had kind of like some inflammation, I guess I would say, around my gut area. And with this raw fast, it really went away. Like I lost a lot of inches in my waist with this raw fast. Again, not necessarily pounds. And my weight is actually good. Like my pounds wise, I'm actually good. I'm happy with the way my body looks, other than my stomach. So this actually did exactly what I needed it to do. And as some of us know, we hold on to inches like a toddler who doesn't want to go to daycare. But this was really helped. And I wasn't even hungry some of the days because of certain things that I was eating. It was curbing my appetite, which also helped. So I was still eating, but I wasn't eating nearly as much, and I didn't feel hungry, and I didn't have a whole lot of cravings. And it really took probably about a month before I could eat normally again. And my ancestors are not entertained by my shenanigans. And so they really want me to, I don't have to go full raw, but I don't have to go full vegan, but they want me to chill out a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Last thing before we really get into it, and this is kind of like a little bit of a hack. When you're cooking, stir clockwise if you want to add something to the work. So if you're adding protection or adding abundance, things like that, you want to stir clockwise. If you want to remove something, so if you want to remove negative energy, if your intention is to remove curses or hexes, or what you perceive to be curses or hexes, or just a mental fog or some confusion, if you want to remove those things, you would stir counterclockwise. And you do not need to blow smoke or like heavily touch or pray over everything as you add it to your dish. This isn't necessarily the same as doing a candle working or anything like that. But you need to make sure that your mind is clear enough so that you can focus on the intentions as you're doing it. You can, depending upon what you're using, if it's something that you would pick up with your hands and touch, then you can definitely hold it in your hand for a second and speak your intentions into it before you drop it in. Totally fine. But you don't have to you don't absolutely have to do that with every ingredient. And with some things, it's going to be kind of not really practical to do that. So that's fine. Just make sure that as you're stirring your food and preparing that you're not, I don't want to say not distracted, because if you have kids, you're going to be distracted. If you have a man or a spouse, you're going to be distracted because they love chaos, especially when you're trying to do something. However, just try to avoid like any negative thoughts or anything like that. Don't go into it when you're flustered or anything like that. I would say never cook that way, only because there is a difference in how it tastes. Like I made something one day and I was trying to hurry up, and my boyfriend was like, "You were in a rush, weren't you?" Because he immediately noticed the difference, because it didn't, although I've made that same thing a million times and I didn't change the ingredients at all, my intentions when I was making it were different. And so try really hard not to do that if you can. So first thing we're going to talk about is mushrooms. So, and this is not necessarily psychedelic mushrooms. This is more of the kind that you would normally eat, the kind you put on a salad, the kind that you would saute with everything else. So real quick, I'm going to read this comment from Ia. She says, even the way you touch ingredients can change how they perform. That is very true. Be a little gentle. You don't want to be too harsh sometimes. She also said the carrot slammed on the counter will taste differently than one washed and dried with love. Absolutely. These are gems. He is always dropping gems. I love it here. So mushrooms. Mushrooms have been recognized as medicinally powerful for literally thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians regarded them as plants of immortality. Several mushroom species have long been used throughout Asia for their medicinal purposes, and they are known to have various therapeutic properties. Many scientific studies confirm the traditional uses and demonstrated their health benefits that include antioxidant and anti-hypertensive properties, liver protection, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and antimicrobial properties. That was a mouthful, so make sure you watch the replay to get all of this information. It wasn't until like the late 1900s, so around the time most of us were born. So maybe if you were alive during like the last quarter of the century, so like after 1975, that's really when like the technology started to allow us to study the anti-cancer properties, because there wasn't too much cancer screenings going on before that. Obviously, they didn't even really know it existed or didn't know what to call it. So there are over like 100 species of mushrooms worldwide, and they are all packed with antioxidant, protein, selenium, vitamins B and D, copper, potassium. Mushrooms contain beta-glucans. That's a tongue twister. And those are shown to reduce inflammation and aid in immune function. Possibly the most notable finding is how they apparently fight hormone-related cancers. Mushrooms can contain a class of proteins called lectins that bind cancer cells and flag the immune system to destroy it. So, if you have a higher risk of cancer in your family and you like mushrooms and you're not like allergic or anything like that, just consuming mushrooms is definitely something that you may want to pay a little bit more closer attention to. And again, your intentions when you cook with them. And there was Japanese trials in the 1970s. That's when they started in the 1970s. And there was a component of the mushroom that significantly extended the survival rate to 5 years or beyond in cancers of the stomach. Also colon or the rectum, the esophagus, I always hate this word, nasopharynx, and the lungs. So, and it's also helpful in a B40 positive breast cancer. So there's several different types of breast cancer. Anybody who's had breast cancer will be able to tell you what specific kind they had. And so it has been helpful in a couple of types of breast cancers as well. And more than 50 mushroom species have yielded potential immune cuticles, cuticles, but not spelled like cuticles, that exhibit anti-cancer activity in vitro or in animal models. And of these, 6 have been investigated in human cancers. So yes, they've done animal testing. I'm sorry if you are against that. But sometimes we have to test things to see how they work before we start putting it on people. Medicinal mushrooms, such as reishi, changa, maitake, and lion's mane stimulate macrophages and increase levels of tumor necrosis factor and interleukins. So there's a lot of big words. They also help with T and B lymphocytes. So shiitake mushrooms are known to increase T cells, basically. Natural killer T cells and anti-inflammatory cytokines. And they also seem to improve athletic performance and enhance oxygenation of the blood. So like mushroom coffee, which some of us have tried, some of us have had. It could be a really good drink before or after a workout, because it helps get the oxygen back in the blood so that you can make sure that you get back to your normal stasis period. And that's very important when working out. You want to get back to normal as much as possible. You also want to watch your beats per minute. It's something that you can watch when you are working out. We haven't gotten to the cooking part, but just a little tidbit. If you're fairly athletic, typically at your resting point, so like if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, anything like that, that has the capacity to check that, you want to get it to the point where your resting heart rate is below 60. And that's an indication that your heart is actually healthy and that you are maybe not in the best condition of your life, but that things are kind of working the way that they should and that you're on the right track. You may still need to watch your diet. You may still need to do other things, but that is an indicator that you're not too far off. So even if you have some extra pounds around your waist like me, having a healthy heart is far more important, especially for Black people, Black women in particularly, because heart disease is the leading cause of death in Black women. Definitely in the tops. It's also important to pay attention to how the mushrooms are grown because they absorb and concentrate everything from the soil they are grown in. So heavy metals, air and water pollutants, all that stuff matters. It matters for everything, but more so with mushrooms just because of their properties. Magically, mushrooms are seen as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual world. You know that if you've ever been to a plant medicine ceremony, right? So use them to deepen your spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If there is an issue with seeing eye to eye with a member of your household, mushrooms in a dish can help you overcome the miscommunication and change the perspective. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you've ever been to plant ceremony, you'll know that communication is high from spirit, right? The mushrooms be talking. And you definitely get new perspectives on things when you are partaking in plant medicine. So the same can apply to just ingesting mushrooms. It's the same effects. You just be more intentional about it. So if there's something going on, that is a very good way to use mushrooms. If there's some discord in your home. So the second thing is ginger. That is something else that has a very long history of being used as traditional and alternative medicine. So ginger root is the universal medicine and has played a significant role in ancient practices such as Ayurveda, and Chinese medicine. So gingerol is actually the primary bioactive compound that is found in ginger and is responsible for most of the medicinal properties, not to mention its unique fragrance and flavor. So ginger is a potent anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-carcinogenic. It also supports the circulatory, digestive, and respiratory systems. Ginger may lessen heart disease risk factors by lowering blood sugar levels, and it's a common remedy for all forms of nausea. It may relieve vomiting after surgery or chemotherapy, and it is extremely effective in minimizing morning sickness and indigestion. Also, in a clinical study found that 1 gram of ginger powder per day was as effective as ibuprofen in combating menstrual pain without any adverse effects. There is something called a carminative, and it can break up and expel intestinal gas. So that is what ginger is. And it is also anti-spasmodic properties. So it prevents like spasms. Joint and muscle pain and swelling may also be alleviated by ginger, and it has been used to treat arthritis and fight the flu and the common cold. Also, it significantly reduced LDL lipoprotein, which is like the bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, and increased HDL, which is the good cholesterol, in a 45-day double-blind clinical trial in which 85 people with high cholesterol were given just 3 grams of ginger powder versus placebo, and it had really good effects. The combination of ginger, mastic, and cinnamon and sesame seed oil can reduce pain and stiffness in osteoarthritis patients, and when applied topically. Mastic trees, if you don't know, are actually found naturally in the Mediterranean, and their resin is used in many things, mostly things that you shouldn't ingest or aren't really edible, but it's used in gum. That's one of the things it's used in, but it's also used as a flavoring. and it's part of the cashew family, and it's related to the pistachio. And pistachios can be used to break love spells in case you ever need to undo something. But ginger itself is used for love, money, success, and power. These are all great for a celebration dessert. If you are getting a new job, someone got a new job, a new home, graduation, or even a baby, these will help promote those intentions of success with that particular thing. So Oshunkamebi said ginger root has been my ancestor favorite since the last plant medicine. And a few people said they love ginger. Like I said, it's good for success and money and all those things, prosperity. It's a good thing that it's for. Next is turmeric. Many of us have heard of this one. So this is a plant common in South Asia and India. It might be one of the most potent of all the healing foods. And it is a staple in Asian medicine for thousands of years. There are bioactive compounds in turmeric known as curcuminoids. Yes, that's what I said, curcuminoids. And it's one of the most studied for its medicinal properties and benefits. It's called if you just use the word by itself, it's curcumin, yes, or curcumin. It might be curcumin. We'll say curcumin, it sounds better. Curcumin has significant antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. It also detoxifies the liver. It's a natural painkiller. It promotes fat loss. We all want to hear that. Reduces oxidative stress and is an excellent wound antiseptic. There is a version of curcumin that was found to be more effective in alleviating rheumatoid arthritis symptoms than the common non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. So turmeric is great for the joints. One of the more widely accepted properties of curcumin in scientific communities is its ability to manage pain by blocking inflammatory pathway messengers. And so it can be useful for a variety of conditions. For example, people with chronic digestive conditions such as IBS, Crohn's disease, and ulcers can dramatically improve symptoms and reduce the use of prescribed corticosteroids. Yeah, there we go. Corticosteroids. That's not the word, but it's close. That may reduce pain, but damage the intestinal lining over time, actually making the condition worse. So I don't know if you've ever had an ulcer. I've never had one, but my stepdad used to get them all the time. And the medicine that he was using helped get rid of the ulcers. But over time, now he's in his 50s, late 50s, he just can't eat certain things because the medicine itself ate away at the lining in his stomach lining in his intestines while it was working to help heal the ulcer. So things to be aware of. Turmeric may be an effective neuroprotectant against several neurodegenerative diseases. In a recent clinical trial at UCLA's Longevity Center, patients with mild cognitive impairment, which is like a possible precursor to Alzheimer's or dementia. The people that were treated with curcumin had significant improvements in memory and attention and better mood. And their brain PET scans or PET scans, I say PET because PET just sounds crazy, shows less plaque, which is on the brain, than those who took the regular placebos. Turmeric's most impressive health benefit might be its cancer-fighting potential. Multiple studies suggest that it's effective in decreasing brain tumor size in animals. Several researchers have looked into it, and it's shown that it acts as, there's multiple things that it does to help kill cancer cells. And it's excellent. It doesn't have a lot of adverse effects. So it doesn't it doesn't make you sicker or make anything else happen that would, like those long crazy side effects that you hear on those commercials on TV, where it may cause, anal leakage and death or something like that. Like this, turmeric isn't going to do all that. So thank the gods and Olodumare for all this wonderful natural remedies for things. So there's that. It can also be effective in treating skin conditions. It helps speed up wound healing, calming the pores to decrease acne and scarring, and soothing psoriasis flares. Of course, most of the studies of this herb are being made using turmeric extracts that contain mostly the curcumin itself, with dosages exceeding 1 gram per day. So it's kind of difficult to get to this level just by eating turmeric in your food. However, that doesn't mean you shouldn't use it, because it's still going to have those properties, especially if you're using it often and it builds up over time. Again, like I said, some of these effects will take time. It's not going to happen overnight, and prevention is the best medicine in the first place. Although, make sure that you consume black pepper with it, because it contains pepperine, because curcumin is poorly absorbed in the bloodstream. So you having black pepper with it helps actually absorb it a little bit better. Make sure that you also talk to a doctor before you use supplements in like a high dosage of this. And if you are taking anticoagulants or non-steroidal and anti-inflammatory drugs, make sure you talk to your doctor about your turmeric intake, if it's more than just cooking with it. If you're actually taking a turmeric supplement, make sure you talk to your doctor first, because anticoagulants are a serious thing, and we don't want to negate the effects of those things. Magically, turmeric is used for purification, and you can use this to clear up weird energy between people in your home or negative vibes after disagreements. Garlic. This is a favorite, somewhat. Again, something else that has been used for thousands of years in all types of ancient peoples, Egyptians, all the different types of Asians. It fights bacterial infections. It fights intestinal infections. It has been linked to low risk of gastrointestinal cancers. And there's been countless studies on the benefits of ginger. So I highly encourage you, with all the things that I'm saying, to continue to look up these things, especially if you are on prescriptions for any reason. Make sure you look up the effects and what you should not take these things with. This class is not a substitute for medical professional guidance and wisdom. It has been shown to reduce high cholesterol levels and blood pressure with patients with hypertension, and is widely considered effective in combating several conditions linked to the diseases of the blood system, the heart, such as heart attack, coronary heart disease, again, hypertension, high cholesterol. Garlic even has the potential to fight infections like herpes, MRSA, strep, and influenza. Of course, this effect is kind of hard to reach just by consuming it alone, so it would have to be prescribed in an extract form. For this reason, people currently taking other high blood pressure medications and anticoagulant medications should be very careful with garlic supplementation. So even just taking garlic supplement, make sure, again, that you talk to your doctor first. Fun fact, the Chinese word for garlic is Dasuan. Dasuan. Most of the positive health effects are caused by one of the sulfur compounds formed when garlic clove is chopped, crushed, or chewed. This compound is known as allicin, but it's not spelled like Allison. It's ALLICIN. And it's the same one responsible for the very pungent smell for the garlic. And even though we usually eat it, allicin can travel from the digestive tract and exert its strong biological effects around the whole body. Also, because of its antiviral and antifungal qualities, garlic can be used to improve candida infections, and garlic oil can be applied to the skin or nails to treat fungal infections. The saying is apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, a clove of garlic a day can also do the same thing. So having it in like, you can make it a salad dressing with it, with like fresh garlic. Or if you like chop it up finely, you can put it in things like a spaghetti sauce or whatever you use a tomato sauce for. It's really good mixed with tomatoes. Which I'm not actually going to talk about tomatoes today, shockingly. Anyway, garlic supplementation is known to boost the immune system's function, and daily garlic extract supplementation can reduce the number and length of colds and the reoccurrence of the flu. Magically, it is used for protection and obviously healing, but it can also increase lust and anti-theft. Also, keep it away from your lotus stone because it neutralizes its magical abilities. So if you have lotus stone, don't like go chopping garlic and then touching your lotus stone. Like make sure you wash your hands really good because it will basically deactivate your lotus stone. So sea vegetables or like seaweed, things that literally come straight out of the water. They are very, 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 very potent health boosters. And seaweed has like recently in the West, it's kind of been like a renewed interest because now we're all obsessed like with sushi. And I don't know if you've ever had those little seaweed snacks where it's about this big and it's really crispy and it has like sea salt. I've seen sea salt ones. I've seen spicy ones with like wasabi, where I guess the wasabi is like on it some kind of way. I didn't get the wasabi ones. Oh, Iola has some right now. Oh my gosh, I want to spotlight you so that we can show these because I think that is absolutely hilarious that you have that. Let me find you on here. That is so funny. There you are. Can you say something for me? Unmute yourself. Tell me how you like them.
Oh, I love them. It's a nice snack. You know, especially you just need to munch on something, but you're getting like, you know, your iodine and stuff. So I like it.
I will tell you that I did that once. I did get those as a snack for Thursdays because we fast on Thursdays. And it wasn't like it was filling or anything like that, but the act of chewing. Like I really love mastication. Okay, mastication means to chew, y'all calm down. I really love to chew. I have, again, I'm gonna say this is gonna sound funny. I have oral fixation. So my mouth needs to move or else I just don't feel at peace. It's like it's an energetic thing. So sometimes I talk a lot. That's why I like kind of go like this sometimes. But chewing gum I found has helped with that. But those are one of those things where if you just feel like you need to chew, you just want to chew something, you don't want gum because it's actually terrible for your teeth. So seaweed is a good alternative to that. A, because it's healthy for you and it's not going to add too much and it's not messy and it's pretty good. I really like it, especially the ones with sea salt. I like it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for having that really close by. That was perfect timing, Priestess. Perfect timing. Seaweed provides substantial health benefits to the, I hate this word too, y'all, endocrine system, and especially the thyroid. So it contains triosine, and it is an excellent source of iodine, as Priestess Iola just said, both of which are essential for production of crucial hormones to maintain healthy thyroid function. The iodine also helps protect against radiation, which can cause disruption in the hypothalamus. That is not that word. Hypothalamus, the pituitary and pineal glands. And if you were in my class, any of the chakra classes, when we started getting to the head. So that third eye and that crown chakra, if you're having some issues with those two particular chakras, go on ahead and get you some seaweed. Cashews as well, Priestess Ola Iya says. I'm not going to talk about cashews today, so thank you for that, Priestess. Moreover, seaweed contains a wide range of antioxidants such as vitamins A, C, and E, and it protects against cell damage. It's an excellent source of fiber and polysaccharides that promote digestive health, enhance the growth of good bacteria, and enrich the gut's cell lining. Also in Alzheimer's studies, using animal models, that's what they say now. They say animal models instead of humans. Seaweeds were found to inhibit the aggregation of a very long word, beta amyloid, and the formation of amyloid plaques in the cerebral cortex of the brain, suggesting the potential to improve cognitive function. So seaweed can bring good luck, abundance, and has also been said to protect by deterring evil spirits. It is a good one for people who think they are cursed or hexed, as it can also vanish. So if you've been feeling unlucky, that is something you can use, or you just feel like there's this dark cloud over you and you cannot figure it out, eat some sushi or just the seaweed by itself. But I love sushi. That's how I get most of my seaweed, sushi. So next we're going to talk about chocolate. So cocoa, the actual, well, and I don't even think that it's actually said cocoa. So it's CACAO, which in my head is not cocoa, right? It's like cacao, something like that. That my brain can't say that word right now. So we just gonna say chocolate, okay? Because chocolate sounds better anyway, and chocolate is amazing. But anyway, it was actually early Mayans and the Aztecs freaking loved it. They traded it as currency, and the Spanish reserved it for serving hot chocolate in the royal courts. So like it was a big deal in ancient times. It contains a whole bunch of things that have cardioprotective effects. The antioxidants they protect neurons, enhance cognition, and lift mood. And we all know, especially if you're a woman that menstruates, it's always like a running joke, especially if you have a male counterpart, where they will bring you chocolate when you're menstruating. And it makes you just feel better. It just makes you happy because it's a sad time. It's a sad time. Not even because you want to be pregnant, because some of us don't. However, there's a lot going on in here, and chocolate just makes everything better. Okay. It can prevent and treat allergies, anxiety, cancers, hyperglycemia, obviously, inflammatory conditions, and oxidative injuries, and can combat insulin resistance. The raw form of this may even help slow premature aging via the same beneficial antioxidants found in green tea and red wine, which we're actually going to talk about that. Resveratrol is on my list for later. It also protects cells from an untimely death. So it's like rejuvenating. It's youth bringing to eat chocolate. You see how I'm spinning this so that I can justify eating chocolate? Ignore me. Harvard has done studies about it. Brigham Young University has done studies about the cacao. Yeah, I'm gonna try and say it right, just for y'all. It has been used to treat type 2 diabetes by helping the body release more insulin and responds more efficiently to increased blood glucose. Several studies have associated high levels of cacao consumption with the lower risk of developing heart irregularity and atrial fibrillation. Yes, priestess, load up on that chocolate. It opens your heart, is one of these spiritual benefits. Add that calm and peace that you feel after having it. It opens your heart. If you're having problems with your heart chakra, get a little chocolate, okay? If you feel closed off and angry because emotions are terrible, eat a little chocolate. It helps create inner balance with male and female energies. And as we all know, we all have both, right? And so chocolate helps balance and level those out. Some of us are fairly masculine women out of necessity, not out of choice. And so that helps us go into our happy place. Same thing with men that are overly masculine. It helps them get to their happy place and level those things out. And sometimes as females, we are overly emotional, and men who lean into their feminine part of their emotions, you can get too emotional, right? And chocolate can bring you back down. So either way it goes, chocolate can level you out. It helps with meditation. It helps bring mental clarity, creativity. It boosts your energy, obviously, and it is healing. The endorphins released can bring peace and calm and help you connect with your higher self, your Ori, and it can also help with your intuition. So load up on chocolate. So next, cabbage. Y'all, I made cabbage for the ancestors, actually for Ancestor Day. I made cabbage and roasted turkey because I gave up pork and I wanted to be able to eat it. So I put that stuff in the crock pot and then I ate it real quick. I had to go buy 2 more heads of cabbage and I cooked that last night because it was ridiculous. So salads, super simple, right? So next time you have a salad, add red cabbage to your salad because it's loaded with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. In fact, you can chalk up their deep purple color to a high concentration of a very particular ingredient that I'm not even going to try to butcher, but it's plant compounds that promote heart health. So another good thing for your heart. It also helps with cognitive function and brain health, all while preventing the lipid peroxidation of bad cholesterol. Basically, cabbage is good for your heart and your brain, specifically red cabbage. Cabbage in general is great for increasing luck. This is good to use before interviews or things that you need a little extra razzle dazzle, a little extra luck for a little oomph. This is often why it's made around the New Year and on St. Patrick's Day. Newlyweds should plant this in their garden to help bring success to their marriage. FYI, a little life hack, little tiny life hack. Let me look at this chat because y'all over here talking today. Yes, Ocean Tara says, love some cabbage. Love cabbage soup. Yes, absolutely. Kamisha said, you don't have to say too much. I'm going to get some chocolate. Yes, see? Go get some chocolate, ma'am. I'm looking in my house. Oh, I got chocolate from some lady gave me chocolate randomly, y'all. I don't even remember where I was. I was outside and I was standing in line and the person next to me, oh, I was at a wine tasting last week. I have a Cooper Talk membership. We're going to talk about wine later too. Oh, we talking about it. Just because the ingredient that's in it. But I have a Cooper Talk membership. So I was there last Sunday. And I had a little date. So a date with myself, by the way. I went by myself because sometimes you need me time. You hear me? So I was there and a lady, a couple couples down from me, I can't even remember what we were talking about. Oh, it was one of the wines. It was one that it's not, I usually get sweet wines. And this wine was more of a, I don't want to say bitter taste, but it was a robust wine, had a lot of body to it. Okay. It was not a sweet at all. And so she handed me a piece of chocolate and she was like, you gonna need this. And I did, but I kept it because I wanted to get dessert later. So yes, very dry. Oh me, yummy. It was very dry. It's kind of wanted to make up after you drink it. So anyway, we're gonna talk about wine later, but chocolate, more chocolate. We're gonna find reasons. Yes, Priestess Ola, it was red. I have had some reds that are sweet. Not all reds are dry, but this particular one was, whew, Jesus. So next thing we're gonna talk about, butternut squash. Squash in general, but specifically butternut squash. It is a autumn winter type of squash. There are different types of squash: spring squash, summer squash, autumn, fall squash, and winter. Veggies, but specifically squash. Every season has its own. So butternut squash is a autumn winter veggie. And it makes a very, very good soup. I don't too much care for squash, but butternut squash with some salt, and I can make it work. But butternut squash can also keep the flu and common cold far, far away. Winter squash, including butternut squash, but a lot of winter squashes contain vitamin A, which is necessary for properly functioning eyesight, red blood cell production, and an up and running immune system. Vitamin A deficiencies are associated with a weakened immunity and a higher chance of catching infectious diseases. So because vitamin A is fat soluble, the best way to enjoy a squash, specifically a winter squash or butternut squash, is by cooking it with a healthy fat such as coconut or olive oil, which we are going to talk about coconuts a little later. Squash as a magical item, and really anything with a bunch of seeds, can be good for fertility, prosperity, and abundance. Zucchini is especially good for sex magic. You're welcome. Leave that. We're going to talk about that actually a little bit later. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some messiness. So Brussels sprouts. Now, Brussels sprouts are one of those things that not everybody likes. It's either an acquired taste, you either love it or you don't like it at all. I remember for the Ella ceremony that we had in 2022, we ended up going to Sam's Club and they had some roasted, Brussels sprouts. And baby, we tore those things down. Do you hear me? Because all we could have was fruit and vegetables and things without animals during that ceremony. That whole weekend, really, until I think maybe even the very last day. No, I think the whole weekend. I don't even think we could have it after we was done. Ciao. And we're having another Ella ceremony coming up at the end of the year. So hopefully you get to join us. It'll be an event. It'll be a thing, baby. It's very necessary. But it is not for the weak. I will tell you that. But Brussels sprouts are amazing. Baby cabbages, as Priestess Omo Shule said, they are a cabbage. It's a form of cabbage. But if you have a recent injury, Brussels sprouts contain about 240% of your daily intake of vitamin K. And vitamin K is an essential fat soluble vitamin, and it is necessary for responding to injuries, bone health, and prevention of calcification in the arteries. So Brussels sprouts actually do have some very good healthy properties. As it is a cabbage, cabbage has some of the same magical properties, like I said, but it will also cause some gas. So like, be careful with your timing. If you're planning on doing anything that'll cause you to be a little bent up, you might not want to eat cabbage or Brussels sprouts right before. Just saying. That might not be a good plan. Unless you're comfortable like that. Because if you're comfortable like that, girl, eat whatever you want, child. Eat whatever you want. But I'm just saying, if you about to get folded like some laundry, you might want to avoid cabbage and Brussels sprouts. So pomegranates. So they're sweet and they're tart and delicious. It's kind of a pain if you ever like bought pomegranate. It's not like the most fun thing to eat unless you're just gonna stick some of the seeds in your mouth and play with them and suck all the stuff off and spit the seeds out. I haven't done that before. Stop judging me. Anyway, pomegranate seeds are noted to contain 2 to 3 times the antioxidant capacity of green tea and wine. And red wine, which means they will help keep your cells free and clear of oxidative stress and overly reactive oxygen species. So, as far as magical properties, it's good for divination, luck, wishes and manifestation, wealth, fertility, prosperity, and abundance. The juice can be used as a blood substitute in workings. Pomegranate jam is like one of my favorite things. When I was a kid, I used to put it on bread like a regular jelly sandwich, no peanut butter. But I would like put pomegranate jam. There was a very specific kind. It was a glass jar that had little green dinosaurs on it. I don't remember the brands, but I remember the jar because I love the jar. But I would sit and watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space and eat pomegranate jam. So yes, I'm that old to watch that movie when it was new, and big core memory, obviously, because yeah. If you've never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's very corny, but it's amazing. It's worth it. It's totally worth it if you like 80s movies. So scallions. So if you medically, if you feel like a scratchy throat or sniffle, add some scallions to your food. You can add it to soup. You can add it to salad, ginger tea. And also, if you so desire and you're feeling froggy, if you've ever had potato pancakes, add a little scallions to it. It'll change your life. Anyway, it helps your body sweat out toxins. And scallions are antiviral and antibacterial. They are good for the common cold and general nasal congestion. But if you have a fever, you do not want to eat too much. Speaking of potatoes, so real quick little thing about potatoes. Potatoes can be used in glamour magic, if you didn't know that, and in healing. The eyes of potatoes, if you let them get to the point where they have like eyes on them, which even if they start to grow eyes, they're not bad by any means. You can still definitely use them. You probably don't want it to be growing long or anything like that. You don't want it to start looking like hair. But if they start growing eyes, it's still okay. But the eyes can be used as eyes on your poppets and spirit dolls. And so this is like an added layer if you are using sympathetic magic for your healing or healing for a family member or a client, whatever. It's not a cooking thing, but there you go anyway. Scallions, back to scallions, they are a type of onion. So onions can be used for protection, healing, attracting money, increasing lust, and facilitating prophetic dreams. Another little hack for you regarding onions is do not throw away the skin or like the peelings, because usually most people, we take off the skin and you may take off like that first layer. And typically we throw it away. Some people throw them in the garden. Don't do that either. Burn it. Burning the skin and the peelings attracts riches. Again, not a cooking thing, but there you go. A little hack. But again, onions can be used for protection, healing, attracting money, increasing lust, and facilitating prophetic dreams. So include those intentions as necessary when you are cooking for your family. And that wasn't very messy. I said increasing lust, but this next one is kind of messy. So when I posted earlier about I made a post earlier about how you can use food to put a spell on your significant other. Cucumbers are an interesting way to do that. So first though, Cucumbers are known for having exceptional healing capabilities. They can cool your body down and they can expel toxins, purify the blood, strengthen the heart, moisten the large intestines and the lungs. And it's possible that they kill tapeworms. So if you have a kid that eats everything, and you'd be like, there's everybody has a kid that eats everything, that has a kid. Once they get to a certain age, they just become beasts. So if your kid likes vegetables, try giving them cucumbers to see if that's helping. So everybody, the joke is they have a tapeworm. Like anytime that you see a person eating alive, like, oh my God, you have a tapeworm. Sometimes it's just appetite. And so it stands to reason that cucumbers itself can actually reduce those hunger pangs and those urges that are not necessarily healthy, where you just feel like you have to keep eating. It's also good for swelling in your hands or feet, or if you have a bladder infection. So, if you're pregnant, as pregnant humans know, there's some swelling that can happen, and so try cucumber for that. Also, if you don't want to ingest it, there are different types of topical things that you can use they're infused with cucumber, and you can try, honestly, sometimes just rubbing things on your skin help, like the actual thing. So like rubbing onions on your skin, it has an effect. Rubbing cucumber on your skin has an effect. And so, do your own investigations when it comes to that and seeing how those things work for you. It won't work for everybody, but in some cases it does work to just, once you have it cut, literally rub the inside on you, and it can help. This one is magically good for chastity, healing, and fertility. So I'm about to be a little messy. There's a joke about cucumbers and what they can be used for as a toy specifically, right? So imagine, if you will, the layer of magic by using a cucumber for pleasure and obviously washing it off, right? But if you use, most of us know you can use the energy of orgasms, right? So using the energy of an orgasm and then consuming the cucumber. I'm just saying, make sure you wash it off, however common. And don't tell me if you actually did it, but do your own research and see how that works with manifestations and things like that. I see the chat is going a little, yeah. I'm just saying, when we think about layering magic, and I mean, some people gonna do it anyway, right? So again, don't tell me if you did it. You don't gotta tell me. If it works, I kind of want to know though. So like if you do it and then you wash it off real good and you cut it up and then you eat the cucumber, and it like all of a sudden the thing that you think that you tried to manifest during your orgasm, because that's a real thing. If it works and you get that thing in quick order, like I kind of want to know. I kind of want to know, because I'm just saying. And this gives, yes, this, we'll send a cucumber emoji with a thumbs up. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. We ain't got to say no words. Just send me a cucumber emoji and I will know. And only people who are in this class or see this class will even know. You can send it a private message. If you got my real number, you can text me. I don't care. Just, if it works, I want to know. Listen, I'm just saying. Can you imagine consuming the energy of your orgasm? Don't that sound crazy and kind of magical as fuck? Okay, let me move on. One, sunflower seeds. Like pomegranate seeds, these are very versatile and they can be added to pretty much anything that is kind of savory. They can be added to oatmeal, granola. You can add it to pancake batter if you like ground them up. really good. I mean, you can add it whole too, but you might find that weird. So if you ground up the sunflower seeds, you can add them to things. They're great with salads. Okay. Um, so sunflower seeds, they have a lot of calcium and magnesium, and they are often prescribed in Chinese medicine to get rid of rashes. Sunflower seeds help lower blood pressure and can relieve headaches and dizziness. In Eastern medicine, we usually have a recommendation to eat sunflower seeds if a person is troubled by certain severe intestinal symptoms like dysentery. Yes, because people still get dysentery in 2023, or intestinal worms or certain parasites. It helps to get rid of them. As far as magical properties, sunflowers and sunflower seeds can be used for fertility, wishes and manifesting, health, and wisdom. Women who wish to conceive could benefit from just plain old eating sunflower seeds. Pressing the stems and extracting the juice and then infusing it into other things can help with virtue. Yes, that's right, virtue, which some people are greatly lacking. Ocean Kamebi loves my transitions, and you're welcome. Cinnamon. There was no way I was going to be able to teach this class without mentioning cinnamon. I always have to, anytime I have to mention things to cook with and eat, cinnamon is always going to be a part of whatever it is that I say, because cinnamon is fantastic. So it smells great. It tastes great. You can add it to hot chocolate, cookies, dessert, tea, all those things. But it also has protective antioxidant compounds that have potent anti-inflammatory activity. The reduction of inflammation means that cinnamon oil and extract can be beneficial in the case of chronic pains such as migraines and arthritis. And cinnamon can promote blood circulation, which helps stimulate and push circulation to the nerves and joints. So whether it's used as tea, oil, extract, whatever, cinnamon contains high amounts of the active compound, and it starts with cinnamon, but it doesn't end in cinnamon. It's cinnamaldehyde. 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 There we go. That's a word. Big old word. That particular thing possesses medicinal properties that is well known to help manage blood sugar and improve insulin resistance. So again, all the diabetics should be regularly ingesting cinnamon. It works on muscle cells, which forces them to reduce sugar from the bloodstream, where it is converted to energy by interfering with numerous digestive enzymes that slow down the breakdown of carbohydrates in the digestive tract. Plus, cinnamon has been proven to fight fungal, bacterial, and viral elements in foods, and it is used to improve lung congestion issues. It helps clear up mucus and encourages circulation. Again, most of the time, these effects are not seen simply by ingesting cinnamon, and it's in a dosage that is probably higher than your regular daily consumption. But again, taking it as part of meals will help with your health, just like all the other things I mentioned. Magically, we commonly use this for protection, prosperity, and quickening. It also used to deepen your spirituality, your psychic abilities, and feelings of love. So, cooking with love, being made with love, and adding cinnamon, particularly to desserts. I don't know what it is about desserts, and it's probably because a lot of the ingredients that we would put in desserts have an intention of love, and that's probably why we love them, and we can't stop eating them. And America is so damn fat because we love them. But anyway, that's just a little tidbit too. If anytime you want to increase the love and the feel-good feelings in your home, make a freaking dessert, okay? And add cinnamon. Also, not about necessarily cooking, but most of us do cinnamon blowing day, right? But Cinnamon is also works in love spells. And I have a cinnamon broom above the bedroom door. So there's that. And then you can also blow cinnamon on the bed itself. Just try it out. You're welcome. Anyway, cloves. So this is super aromatic, right? It's a wonderful spice, adds a very specific flavor to anything. You can use it in, if you make a Christmas ham, cloves, it's usually like stuck with cloves and pineapples and things like that. One time my mom did one with pears and apples instead of pineapple and cherries, and it was pretty amazing. If you've never had a baked apple that's been seeping in ham juice, go on ahead and try it. It's great. Too bad I gave up pork. Don't know why I did that. Anyway, cloves are a cooking staple in India. And they are antifungal, antibacterial, antiseptic, and analgesic. Analgesic, sorry. Clove essential oil has been shown to have antimicrobial properties, stopping the growth of and killing common types of bacteria, as well as promoting oral health. If you have a problem with breath, clove is good for that. It's also good for alleviating toothache pain. So if you've got some mouth issues, clove will be the thing to do. You can dab like a little bit of clove oil on a cotton ball and place it on the area that hurts. Use a Q-tip if it's necessary, depending on where the place is. Q-tip might be a little bit easier. Having a whole cotton ball in your mouth may not work, especially if you have a tiny mouth, which I don't. Clove tea is prepared as a remedy to prevent colds and flu and to improve sore throat symptoms, along with alleviating vomiting, stomach issues, gas, and diarrhea. It relaxes the gut lining and the muscles, so that's how it kind of helps with that particular area. It's also a topical treatment. Clove oil can be added to massage balms to help ease sore muscles and lessen arthritic and rheumatic pain. Clove is often used for protection, love, money, and manifesting wishes, because little cloves look like little microphones. So you can speak your wishes into those things. And so, again, if you want the love in your home to grow, or even if you need some prosperity or protection, add those intentions to whatever it is that you're making. Oh, that's really, I just thought about this. So if you're making a ham and you use cloves in the ham, if you do the traditional cloves, pineapple, and cherries, all those things are great for love and prosperity. So keep those things in mind. So coconut, I said we were going to talk about this earlier, right? So again, if chastity is a problem in your relationship, coconut is definitely a move. So it's super easy to infuse into your cooking. You can fry things in it, sear things in it, bake things with it. And then you can also infuse it into the desserts. Like you can use the coconut water for things. You can use, the coconut oil extract, the kind that you can ingest. And then like the meaty part of the coconut, obviously people use those in certain desserts, the shaved coconut. I don't believe in shaved coconut. I think that's gross. However, I'm not going to shame anyone who loves it. It's just not for me. I am German and I love chocolate cake, but I hate German chocolate cake because of the shavings that are on it. However, if you're going to make some German chocolate cake, we already talked about what chocolate can do, right? We're all excited about the things chocolate can do. So coconut, this is a good working. If your spouse, whomever, likes German chocolate cake and they also ain't shit, make a German chocolate cake to increase the love between the two of you with the chocolate and the peace and the calm and the balancing of energies. And then also the coconut for chastity. Because get it together, motherfucker. I'm just saying. Okay, so there's that. So coconut is rich in antioxidants and has powerful antibacterial properties that can support better blood sugar control, and it's very high in fat and calories though. So like be careful. Don't overdo the coconut. If you're trying to lose or maintain your weight, like definitely use coconut in moderation. So ginseng. Um, Ginseng has been used for a bazillion years in Chinese medicine, and it's a general tonic for the promotion of vitality, health, and longevity. There are two main types of ginseng. One is Asian or Korean ginseng, and then there's American ginseng. So they have different benefits, but in traditional Chinese medicine, American ginseng is considered less valuable and potent. Okay. The main active ingredients responsible for its medicinal actions are called ginsenosides. That sounds like a terrible word, but they seem to have anti-inflammatory effects by targeting pathways in the immune system that could reduce inflammation. So ginseng is commonly known to be stimulating to our nervous system and improve focus and concentration, but the antioxidant compounds may also reduce accumulation of plaque and free radicals in the brain, which that seems to be a common thing. Plaque on the brain apparently is far more common than we've ever been told. Some people don't even know you can get plaque on your brain, and plaque on your brain is a horrible idea. Imagine how plaque on your teeth looks and then put that on your brain. Like, no ma'am. So it also helps reduce free radicals in the brain and could lower the risk of developing cognitive disorders. So a few studies suggest that ginseng has also been useful to manage diabetic conditions, and that they may I don't know why I can't talk today. It may stabilize blood glucose levels by affecting insulin production in the pancreas and improving insulin resistance. As always, it is very important to use caution when supplementing high doses of anything, but ginseng root specifically can alter the effects of blood pressure, diabetes, and heart medications, as well as increasing the risk of bleeding when taking blood thinners. So again, make sure you consult a doctor or medical professional or nutritionalist before you start taking it as a supplement. Again, it's something that you can regularly consume in its normal form. But if you're going to be taking supplements, make sure you talk to your doctor if you are on any type of medications. American ginseng is good for adding the intentions of love, wishes, or manifestation, healing, protection, or lust in your dish. So a lot of these things have lust. I'm just saying that is why everyone loves food, because it makes you feel good. And if you're doing love magic, you need some. That's probably why they say a way to a man's heart is through his stomach, because there's so many things you can infuse with the intention of lust. And men often confuse lust with love. Most people do, but certainly men. They don't know the difference. Not all of them, but too many of them. So that's why made with love is so important. So resveratrol. So this is the plant compound that is found in like grapes and red wine and different types of berries. It is also, it's actually concentrated mostly in the skin and the seeds of these fruits. So it's not necessarily the fleshy part that we actually enjoy the most. It's the skin of the grapes or the seeds that it really is in. It has been widely studied because of its concentrated amount of antioxidant compounds and found beneficial in protecting brain function and lowering blood pressure. It has, it provides cardioprotection, reduction of free radicals, and it helps with the enzymes involved in inflammatory pathways. The antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity of resveratrol may help slow down age-related cognitive decline by interfering with protein particles called again, beta amyloids, which are used in the formation of plaques and help prevent damage to the brain cells. It also helps increase the production of nitric oxide, a compound that causes blood vessels to relax. So this is one of those things that, again, be careful if you are on blood thinners and you're drinking wine, specifically drinking wine, possibly grapes too. Check with your doctor. Enjoying red wine in moderation, obviously. They always said red wine in moderation was a meal, is not a horrible thing. So grapes themselves, though, are good for fertility, increasing mental powers, and attracting money. It was, if you've ever seen like those Greek inspired movies where they're always like eating grapes off the vine and things like that, and they're just so leisurely and rich, because usually it's the gods, it's a sign of like opulence and things like that. And so opulence and abundance. So grapes are good for those things. So I could really do this forever. But I have some honorable mentions. So I'm going to say, before I say some of these, because they're going to go quick, they're not going to be long, make sure that you get these two books. I have the PDF version of the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. That's this right here. But I have the very thick version, regular version of the Complete Book of Correspondences. Make sure you get these two books. I talk about them often. They are very helpful for intentions and things like that. The Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs also gives you uses for some of these things. So some of the uses that I mentioned actually came from that book. Get those two books. And it's also not always bad to Google things. It works just fine for things like this because the witches love to share this kind of information. It's not really occult knowledge. And so it's not like learning about the Orisha or the Loa. White women are a great resource for magical intentions of things, in case you were wondering. Many are actually descendants of Celtic witches, and their practices are so secret that you can't even learn about it from the internet and books. What we have now is like a severely watered down version of what the Celtic practice actually looked like. The church did a number on Celtic magic. What we have now is the church's version of Celtic magic, where they kind of rewrote everything to make it fit what they wanted to, and also make it not seem like magic so much, because magic is the devil, but they wanted to use it. So they kind of like watered it down. And plus some of it they just couldn't understand, because without, again, that would be like somebody, you can't just automatically understand Orisha practices just because you read a document. Like it's something that you have to like go through and learn. And because they didn't do that, they kind of missed a lot of the information. So like I said, now all we have are like Christian interpretations of the practice of Celtic magic. Over 40% of my DNA comes from ancestors that would have practiced Celtic magic. So now maybe some of you understand why I'm so adamant about venerating my Caucasian ancestors, because baby, they come through. Okay. But anyway, you can Google some of these things, because like I said, the white witches, they be all about it. Any food that is a probiotic, things like fermented veggies, kombucha, pickles, all those things are known to be beneficial to optimize digestion, but it goes way beyond that. A lot of conditions' root causes are poor gut health, including thyroid imbalances, chronic fatigue, joint pain, skin issues, anxiety, depression, food allergies. All these things come from your gut not being able to break down and use what you've put into your body. And gut microbes are actually involved in the immune system and the inflammatory process, also in cognitive function and neurotransmitter production as well. So probiotics can help with a very long list of things, not just get you regular. Okay. It's good for eczema, wound and scar healing, skin structure, as far as like the elasticity of your skin. And you can take probiotics orally or apply them topically, but some of them can just be ingested, like pickles. Love pickles. If you look up each probiotic individually, you'll kind of see what you can do for it magically. This is why I said it's okay to Google, because everything has a thing. Okay. So alfalfa, for example, alfalfa magically can be used to fight hunger, attract money, gain prosperity. If money is tight, cooking this or cooking with it will not only help you curb your appetite, right? Because it fights hunger. It can help curb your appetite, but can also help you turn a corner financially. So just make sure you're putting the right intentions into it as you consume it. Almonds, practically, almonds can help cure or combat fever, and they can also help prevent intoxication when drinking alcohol. But magically, they help bring money, prosperity, and wisdom. Allspice, which is a favorite this time of year, right? It can be used for money, luck, and healing. So infuse that into your desserts or even some of your savory dishes when applicable. Star anise and anise, they're the same thing. It's just that if you've ever seen star anise, there are seeds inside. So anise is just the seeds themselves, the anise seeds, but star anise itself as a whole can still be used. Either way, magically, this is wonderful for protection, curse and hex lifting, and purification. So those are wonderful intentions to add to your food. And again, that's one thing that can be used in savory dishes and in sweet dishes. Apricots, beets, and avocados are all great for love work. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And beet juice can actually be a substitute for blood in workings as well. So beet juice and pomegranate juice. If you don't want to use blood in a working, you can use either of those as a substitute for blood. Bananas help with fertility and prosperity. Banana bread is a good metaphor for these intentions. So we often use baking as a synonym for pregnancy or growth, right? We always say you're baking something in the oven as a way to say someone's pregnant, or even with growth. So like if someone has like this big master plan and it fell through, sometimes we call it like a half-baked idea or something like that. And so use these intentions in your work, particularly when making banana bread. If you are trying to be pregnant, or if you're trying to grow an idea or grow something that will be a prosperous thing, banana bread is a way to do that. Bay leaves can help with protection, psychic powers, healing, purification, and strength, and is often used to help with clairvoyance and wisdom. So bay leaves are in all kinds of dishes. I don't know if you've seen the thing recently where people didn't actually know what bay leaves were, and so they had whole bay leaves in their food, and they were freaking out because they thought it was like an outdoor leaf in their food because they're uncultured swine. Anyway, bay leaf is good for protection. So that's a good intention for your food for sure. Also, that clairvoyance and wisdom is actually really, really nice. So last thing I'm going to mention is tea tree oil. So tea tree oil is not consumable. It is highly toxic when ingested. I'm saying this because I've heard about someone ingesting it. So do not ingest tea tree oil. It is very well known as a topical treatment. It has a whole bunch of stuff in it that can kill bacteria, viruses, and fungus. It's great for like nail infections, or it can be mixed with like coconut oil. You can use it by itself, or you can mix it with coconut oil for fungal infections. It stimulates skin structure and scar healing. It can reduce the overall severity of acne, and it may also relieve like the inflamed skin caused by like dermatitis and some of the pain symptoms that come with that. It's also good in like natural cleaning methods. So if you don't like the chemicals of certain cleaning products that you have, tea tree oil can actually be used in natural cleaning products, because it has the antimicrobial abilities, and like you can create your own products using it. Spiritually, it can be used for healing, obviously, cleansing, protection, repelling negative energy, overcoming physical attacks, removing hexes, cure spiritual ailments, and assisting with entering and exiting the dream state, which we've had several classes about lucid dreaming, and the different, the dream realm and the astral realm and astral projection, things like that. So you can actually use tea tree oil to assist with those things. I know it's random. And again, I know that's not something that's edible, but a lot of people think that everything that is natural, like tea tree oil and things like that, can be edible. And that's not the case with this. So I want to make sure to point out that tea tree oil is not edible. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that? How do we feel about the class? Talk to me. I want to hear your beautiful voices. Anybody? Nobody? I'm gonna say that y'all don't even like the class thing. Very informed. Thank you. So much great info. Thank you. Come on, cousin, where you at? Y'all gonna let the visitors out talk us? That can't be right. Priestess Omisika said that she loved this. And I love you, Ope. Anybody else?
I absolutely love this class. I'm driving in the car with my family right now, and I wish I was at my desk so I could take notes, but I really appreciate all this information.
You're very welcome, my love. Priestess Ola says, I want snacks now. Oshun, come at me, baby.
You already know how I feel about all your classes. But honestly, for real, I think this class might be my favorite of your series so far, because the health scientist in me loved all of the chemical and the organisms and the other like electronic components that you were talking about in the body, how it wasn't just, the food aspect, but actual what our body as a machine does, like how our body processes it all. So I loved that. But overall, it was a great class. I loved the different tips and tricks with the herbs and how to use it. And, how we said going forward, if we do that little secret thing, the emojis only. Nah, but for real, this was a great class. For real, for real.
Thank you, my love. Yeah, listen, I know I said don't tell me about it, but now I really kind of want to know if it works. That's not my thing. That's not my steez. Not with a cucumber. I haven't tried it with a fruit, a vegetable, or anything like that. But I kind of want to know now, because we talked about it, and if it works, child, let me know. If you can manifest some amazing things with that cucumber working, that's a whole working right there. You hear me? I want to know. I also want chocolate. Yes. Listen, I'm gonna find some chocolate to get into. I'm gonna just tell y'all that right now. I still got some cake I got lemon pudding cake from our ancestor celebration, so I'm probably definitely gonna eat that. But I'm gonna find some chocolate to get into. You should make a video about it. Listen, I don't think I'm actually gonna do it. I don't have like my curiosity hasn't reached the point where I want to try it myself, but I do want to know. If I get enough testimonies about the effects of this and how it worked, I will definitely do the class, and I won't use anybody's name or anything like that, but I will do the class about the field research. That will say it like that. The field research that was conducted on these here cucumbers. Yes, Ocean.
Hey, yo, Priestess, Omar, if I'm familiar. Before it, though, this just dropped in my spirit. Love Goddesses Honey Trap with the shot of gin before.
Do that.
Okay.
Do that.
I hope y'all wrote that down, because y'all know we in the dream world. Hey, hey.
Do that. Okay. Listen, I want to know now. Now I'm intrigued, but again, not intrigued enough to try it myself. Maybe if something happens and I'm mad at my man, I might decide to do that, but we'll see what happens. Anything else? Anybody else got anything they would like to say or add or question? What was you said it was at the Honey Trap Ocean, maybe the Honey Trap class that she had, or the Love Sap? You talking about Love Sap?
No, I'm talking about Honey Trap.
Okay, Honey Trap. Okay.
The Honey Trap for this one. Love Sap, hell no. But
I mean, if you want to manifest love, if you want to manifest some strong self-love.
That will be unshakable, unbreakable. Okay. Hell
If
no.
you want to learn to love yourself real deep, go on ahead and use Love Sap with that cucumber and see what happens. Child, messy, just messy. All right. Other than cucumbers, does anybody have anything else they would like to? They have a question or add to? Oh, you're welcome. About the Celtic witch information, definitely welcome. You can look it up. Again, a lot of the stuff that we have for like Wicca is actually based on Celtic magic. Again, this is a very watered down version of what they were actually doing, but it's been a millennia basically since Christianity tried to wipe out the practitioners of Celtic magic. Obviously, they didn't get them all, but they're so far underground, child. You would have to be born into a family that has practiced originally the whole time in order to get to it. They are very protective of that, like nobody's business. More protective of it than any other practice that I have ever really looked into, seriously looked into. I'm sure there's other ones, but you ain't gonna get that child unless you was born into it. You ain't gonna be able to walk into somebody's nothing and ask about it because they ain't gonna tell you. Yeah, so again, yeah, you're right. Bashira said next time a white witch gets mad about saying ATRs are closed, I'm going to say that they must not be Celtic. Not really, because like I said, it's their real Celtic magic practitioners are going to be few and far between, and they're not even going to tell you about it because it's like super, super secret. Most of these witches today are just descendants of the original practitioners, and the only thing they have left are the Christian versions of their own magic in some cases, and so it's not really as tough. But then they still have that colonizer mentality where they think they are entitled to everything, again because it's based on Christian concepts of Celtic magic, right? So, and we all know Christians are the biggest colonizers for various reasons. So there's that. And what does that tell you? Exactly. So, Ashada Jane, that's why they're mad. You're right, child. Yeah, I could go off on a tangent about that. But again, I have a lot of Celtic blood. I descend heavily from the Celts, and so some things just work for me that they wouldn't work for everyone just because of my lineage. So a lot of natural witches, like real witchcraft, some things just come naturally to me because of my lineage. Some people have to work a little bit harder at it. That my white ancestors are strong as well. I'm glad you made this class too, Kamisha. All right. Anything else, y'all? Dang, it's a 2-hour class. All right, well, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me today. This was only class 3 in the series, so there are still 3 more live classes, and then also the Enchanted Elderberry class, which should be loaded to your module if you have it. So the next class is in 2 weeks, and that is the Kingmakers class. We're talking about building strong foundations in your relationships with and without a spell. So some of the concepts we talked about today, this kind of leads into that a little bit, but not too much, because we're actually going to be talking about just relationship dynamics and things like that. And again, practical applications of love and relationships and how to grow those things, but also a little magic. Yeah. So I love you all very much. Thank you for joining me. And remember to keep your head so high you don't even see the haters. Peace.
Thank you, Egbe. Bye.
Bye, y'all.